Coach,
Earlier this offseason, you said the biggest thing you learned from last year was patience, just kind of overall. How has that kind of applied to your work so far this offseason and running in training?
Well, the way training camp's set up right now, in terms of getting acclimated, how every team in the league is doing that. The first few days, till we get to pads and what I think is day 5 or day 6. I just think being patient as you build the defense and build the communication and build working on our techniques, because again it starts as real football now in terms of just getting ready for the season. So you just got to be patient as we build our getting better at our fundamentals.
Coach, the franchise has made the decision they gotta get more turnovers and big plays on defense. You certainly went out, got a bunch of rookies who have a history of that. But then you go get Marcus Peters, who doesn't just have a history, he's an NFL leader. How big can he be addressing that need that clearly the franchise has targeted all offseason?
Well, he knows more than anybody, just having experience in the league, that each year is different and you got to prove yourself each year. I know he's excited about the opportunity. I'm excited about working with him. And, obviously what he's done in the past, having seen him on film, been on teams where our offensive coaches are aware of where he's at. So it's definitely a positive to have that type of ball hawking mentality. But, we're just working. He's excited about the opportunity, and I'm excited to work with him.
When you mentioned a ball hockey mentality, which he definitely has, is that something that can be incorporated into other players' games? And is there a fine line in there in terms of the confidence to go try to make a ball hockey play without wanting to make a mistake as well? And
on defense, we talk about defending the field, defending the situations, but it's also about being disruptive. And the number one way to disrupt is to have turnovers. So obviously it's one of the main emphasis points we make. It's something that we know we have to work on every day. Coach is giving us plenty of opportunities in terms of periods and practice to be able to work it. So, we're going to try to instill it in everybody. You want a defense that's looking for the ball.
Patrick, Marcus Epps in Philadelphia, even when he was younger, was credited with helping people. He just had a high football IQ. I know it's only been 2 days, but through OTAs and minicamp, have you seen that relate here in Vegas, where he's helping young guys and his football IQ's off the charts?
I think Marcus, he studies, he works hard, he's a good communicator. He's a good communicator off the field, so it's a pleasure to be around him. But at that position, it's hard to play the safety position without communicating. So you're going to find throughout the league, throughout the years we've been coaching, the safeties are some of the best communicators on the field. So, and some guys are a little bit better than others, but Trayvon's back there communicating, Quan's back there, Teamer's back there communicating, Isaiah. It's just part of the job.
Coach, a name that's kind of been going around the locker room with someone to praise the UDFA. You guys brought in Adam Plant. I know you're a defensive line guy, and you've been able to see a lot of them since rookie minicamp. What has been your thoughts of the progression you've seen so far this offseason?
One of the positives, obviously the size. You like to see guys, you want to have some size down there in terms of length. He has that. And really, it comes down, anytime you hear about the positive vibes and stuff, it's because guys are working hard. So whether it's Plant, whether it's Nesta, all those guys are working hard. I mean, again, don't want to single anybody out. Byron, Tyree, they're all working hard. That's when the veterans start to talk about them, when they're working hard and they see that they're trying to get better.
Isaiah played his way into the mix a little bit last year. What's the next step for him?
Keep getting better. Right now at training camp, Coach laid it out. We're working on our fundamentals and technique, improving our communication, and it's about getting better each day. So can you be better on day 2 than day 1? Can you be better on day 3 than day 2? That's the important part right now, and just keep working and trying to get your body and your mind ready for the regular season, but not looking too far ahead.
Talk about Devon Diablo. Obviously, again, a converted safety, but he really came on late in the year in terms of pass coverage, and now in training camp, he's made a few splash plays there. What have you seen from him throughout this time?
The thing, as he's learned to play the position more and more and more, and as a linebacker, it's about being able to have some anticipation, some awareness pre-snap. That's always key, because they're usually in some sort of run-pass conflict, and the better they understand that, the better off the more likely they are to make plays. And then we'll see when the physicality comes into it when we get to next week with the pads and stuff. But it all starts from film study, him getting in his playbook, understand what we're doing, and understand how the people around him are working together, leveraging the formation, leveraging coverage, and knowing where you can make plays.
Patrick, how's Nate Hobbs doing after taking that softball off the face over the weekend?
Coach talked about it. Nate's got a smile on his face, so. Coach already talked about that.
What do you guys, you're on a year in, so you're still early in the process of, kind of roster building. Overall with roster, but also on the defensive side of the ball. When you're a coach and maybe, circumstances aren't ideal, how do you still, sort of put pressure on yourself to find ways to garner improvement?
Improve. I mean, I think any coach in this league, if you don't improve, if you become stagnant, I mean, like, you're going to be in trouble. It's constantly changing. It's one of the more competitive occupations in the world, in my opinion. Again, I just think with football, there's only 32 of us, whatever position we're at, there are only 32 of us in the world. You got to stay competitive. It comes through this, similar to what the players do, aside from what happens on the field. Their practice on the field, that's my practice too. The situations there, making calls, but really it comes down to film study, working hard, and just trying to get better.
Talk about disruptive plays, getting to the quarterback, pressure, sacks, turnovers, whatever the case may be. How do you set up kind of the goals in the locker room to get those guys want to be more competitive and try to just compete to make that happen?
Usually when you talk to these guys, they're driven by goals, right? And if you give them, you tell them, okay, listen, and if you show them, like, whether it's statistically or just show them how this correlates to winning, turnovers and takeaways, it correlates to winning. And, you got a room full of guys that want to win, so you tell them how important it is, and then we work on it. And then if you're going to emphasize it, if you're going to say something about it, you got to emphasize it in practice and in the meetings.
Statistically speaking, Chandler was playing his best football for about 4 weeks before that injury, kind of down last year. What's the key to him kind of picking up where he left off?
Chandler's been doing this for a long time. He knows last year, whatever happened, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So for him, it's about just steady improvement, especially at the defensive line position. It starts to become real football now. It's really about getting back to your fundamentals and technique, a body on a body, defeating blocks, getting your reads and your key work. So that's all the stuff. It's not anything really specific to Chandler. It's really for all those guys, especially when you're talking about the front guys where they're getting used to real football.
Last question, Adam. Obviously, it's very early in camp, but Tyree is working back from an injury. I guess how much is he missing out on, and what can he learn as he's not able to take the field right now?
Coach already talked about it, heading in the right direction, and his time here in the building, he's working hard and working to improve, and we're just trying to get him ready.
Next question.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.